Flame War League just started, and coincidentally, the April World Qualifier also just ended with DIZI taking the golden ticket over NAVI in the finals. I managed to get my hands on some bases from both finalists, which I will share with you in this video to set you up for success in the upcoming Clan War Leagues. And let's take a look at the first base, which is from Daniel from DIZI. And this base is absolutely insane. It should be a great all-rounder for Clan War Leagues as well as for normal Clan Wars. It defended against NAVI in 2 different Clan Wars and also against Vedic Esports in 2 different Clan Wars. No matter if they threw Root Fighters against it or Dragons against it, this base always managed to defend. As you can already see, there are 2 main approaches for Root Fighters on this base. And that's basically, you always want to send your Root Fighters into the Town Hall and you have quite a great pathing into the core of the base. And also because the Fire Spitters are both angled to away from the Town Hall, going into the Town Hall is just so incredibly lucrative for Root Fighters. So the main approach would be to either use your Royal Champion at 12 o'clock or at 6 o'clock to take out that portion and then send in all of your Root Fighters into the Town Hall. And that's also the approach most of the pro players did in the World's Qualifier, and also what you could be expecting on this base in Clan War Leagues or Clan Wars. And you can already see on the bottom side, you would probably not go in there because you have that Giga Bomb there and not a single Giant Bomb, but a Giga Bomb is just forcing your attacker to go, or well, forcing the attacker to go in from the 12 o'clock side where you have the native, where you have the 3 giant bombs in total. And if you take out that portion, you would be sending in your Root Fighters on this Wizard Tower and your Queen King on the outside. And you can already see you have all of these air bombs right here, and they are going to do some serious damage if your Cocoloons go down by then. All of your healers will eat up those air bombs and they are gone instantly. And then, of course, you still have so much on the back end. You still have 2 scatter shots. You still have that monolith where all of those Root Fighters are going to path around. None of those Root Fighters want to go to that monolith. So that monolith is always doing some serious work. And also in the back end, you still have that Ricochet Cannon in combination with the Inferno Tower. That's, of course, a lot of damage for those Root Fighters. And Root Fighters, of course, do not like that. And that will guarantee you some defenses in Clan War Leagues. But also, if you throw some dragons on top of this base, if you throw some dragons against this base, it is incredibly hard to get any of these core defenses like the monolith, like the multi-inferno towers, because your Royal Champion will just walk around this outside ring, and your Royal Champion is never going to go towards either the Town Hall or the multi-gear tower or any of those core defenses which you desperately need for dragons in order for it to function, which won't be the case here. So that monolith and those multi-inferno towers are just able to do so much damage on top of your dragons, also guaranteeing you a defense there. So if you're looking for a great all-rounder base against both dragons as well as Root Fighters, if you don't know what you're going to get attacked with in the Clan War Leagues, then this base is of course a great choice. But if you know that you're going to get attacked with Root Fighters, then the upcoming 2 bases will also be amazing choices. And also the Clan Castle, which you should be using on this base and also on the other 2 bases, is 2 Ice Golems, so 1 Furnace, 1 Headhunter, and 1 Archer. I also dropped the recommended Clan Castle as well as the army link in the description of the base, so you can easily copy it there. And here we have the next base, and this is a base from NAVI, also used in the finals against DIZI, and it managed to defend the one and only Mask. Now, of course, that has to mean that this base surely packs a punch and is surely able to defend the best of the best players. Mask, of course, now qualified for the World Championship, but he wasn't able to crack this base, and that's because this base is also a great bait against Root Fighters. Root Fighters are most likely going to go in from the 12 o'clock section or from the 6 o'clock section, and you can already see both of those sections are completely bombarded with mines. So you have a lot of Seeking Air Mines on the top corner, you have a lot of Seeking Air Mines here on the bottom corner, and then also the air bombs, which will crush your healers. Absolutely insane. If you go in from either the top side or the bottom side, you have absolutely no chance avoiding those mines if you don't use the Warden ability early enough. And then, of course, you don't have the Warden ability on the back end, where all of your Root Fighters will, of course, be shredded by either the Monolith or the Town Hall, which are guaranteed to do a ton of damage to your Root Fighters. And also, For dragons, the main approach would be to send in the royal champion from the 4 o'clock side and make her way into the core of the base. So from the ricochet cannon, she should go over to the scatter shot and then towards the Inferno Tower with a little bit of funnel. And you can see this is completely bombarded with the tornado trap, with a few of those giant bombs, also with this Tesla, just to make funneling into the middle a little bit harder. And also right-handed players are always going to go in from the bottom side instead of the top side. So therefore you can still see that Gaku did a little bit of work in order to also defend it from the top side with 2 of those Tesla as well as a few of those giant bombs. But he mainly focused on the bottom side, so the 4 o'clock side, and it is completely bombarded with traps. So if an attacker goes in from that side, he is also, or they are also, in for a surprise. And now you may ask, why is there actually not the short-ranged, the fast attack multi-gear tower, but the long-range multi-gear tower? That's mainly because of flame flingers. You can already see if there would be the short-ranged multi-gear tower right here, then of course you have quite a good of flame flinger value with both of these merged defenses as well as the multi-gear tower. Now that it's a long-ranged gear tower, you can't play a flame flinger right there and you won't be able to get a ton of value. So also a great overall, a great all-rounder base. But if the attacker were to go in from the 2 o'clock side with a World Champion Walker, you can get quite a bit of value, and then you should be able to get it down with dragons, especially if you use the Clan War League. In normal tournament matches in hard mode, it should still be incredibly hard, but in normal Clan War League matches, you should then be able to do so. But against Root Riders, this is just a great base, just because you have the bait at either 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So if you know that you're getting attacked with Root Riders, then I for sure can recommend using this base. Also in this base, the recommended clan cost would be 1 Furnace, 2 Ice Golems, 1 Headhunter, and 1 Archer. Here we have the next base from Navi, and here you can already see we have yet another diamond base. And once again, it is of course the Fire Spitters are both showing away from the Town Hall, so the main approach would of course normally on this kind of base would be to go in from the Town Hall with your Root Fighters and then of course do either a Royal Champion Walk at 6 o'clock or at 12 o'clock, but you can already see, unlike with the first base, this is absolutely not trapped, and that's because Gaku perfectly placed both of those air sweepers against the Town Hall entry, so even though both of the Fire Spitters are showing away from the Town Hall, you are not going to go into the Town Hall because you're facing both of those Fire Sweepers in the core, and they will just keep pushing away your healers from those Root Fighters, and your Root Fighters would then of course once again be completely shredded by the Monolith, which you of course don't want, as well as of course the Poison Tower, as well as the Multi-Inferno Towers. That's a lot of splash damage and a lot of single target damage, and if you don't have those healers permanently on top of your Root Fighters, then of course that's going to screw your attack relatively quickly before you can even think. So that's why most likely you're going to see the approach with a Royal Champion Walk on the left hand side for both of those multi-archer towers, as well as the funnel, as well as the multi-gear tower. And you can see that's exactly where those giant bombs as well as the NATO are located. And also this would be the same Royal Champion Walk if you were to go in with dragons. If you were to go in with dragons, you would also do a Royal Champion Walk from the left hand side, and you will always eat up all of those giant bombs. You will eat up the tornado trap, and it will just be very, very hard to get a lot of value from your Royal Champion. And after that, you would of course either send in your Root Fighters or your dragons from the top side, not from the bottom side, because I already said if you're right-handed like most people, you would now prefer the top left entry. And you can see that there are a few Seeking Air Mines just to take out those Coconut Loons, and then you would have all of those air bombs, which are going to absolutely screw up your healers. If you don't have a few Coconut Loons right there, or if you don't have the Warden ability right there, all of those healers will get completely destroyed. And then of course you still have the Town Hall on the back end, as well as 2 of those Fire Spitters that are going to do a lot of damage on those unhealed Root Fighters. You should also be able to get a defense, even though you don't have the same limitations like the pro players in the hard mode in the World Championship Qualifier. These bases are of course still incredibly good, even in normal Clan Wars and Clan War leagues. In Legends League, I wouldn't advise you to use them because Legends League meta is just so completely different from Clan Wars because, well, you can't really plan on bases. So therefore, in normal Clan Wars, in Clan War leagues, all of these 3 bases should be insanely good for you. And you should surely be able to get a ton of defenses in the Clan War league if you were to use any of those bases. And also on this base, the recommended climb cost. So once again, is 1 Furnace, 2 Ice Golems, 1 Headhunter, and an Archer. I wish you the best of luck for the upcoming Clan War League. If you like this video, make sure to let me know down in the comments. With that, I would say see you guys soon with the next video. Until then, see ya and bye bye.